Hello viewers, welcome back. I hope you've had a good Easter. We're excited to be back on board NFL TV. I'm Samuel Zito, your host for this evening. Jarrad Carey to my right, he's back again. He obviously did the interviews last week with the players, but he was absent from Web TV 2 weeks ago, so it's good to have you on board. John Seaton's back as well. He missed the commentary on the previous Saturday. He's also back, so we've got the two big inclusions today. I'm looking forward to it. Make sure you tune in for the next 15 minutes as we preview round 3 of the NFL season. Boys, big round in round 2. What to expect in round 3?
Oh, look, I think the big thing for me is that we've got 4 teams undefeated in Division 1 and 2 of them are Whittlesea and Greensboro. Now, if someone had said to me pre-season that both the Eagles and the Slime were going to be undefeated after 2 rounds, I would have laughed in their face. So it's great for the Northern Footy League. It's great for Division 1, and I'm going to get up to the showgrounds on the weekend and have a look. And I just can't wait to see how the game unfolds on the big space there up at Whittlesea. And I reckon the Eagles might do okay.
And CT, of course, your boys, Northcote Park, still undefeated. I'm sure you're pretty excited about that.
Yes, mate, they're going along very nicely, the boys down at West Garth Street. 2-0, like you said, and also Bundoora 2-0. So you've got 2 clubs pushing forward for a flag this year, and they've beaten 2010 finalists. So they haven't just won, they've beaten quality oppositions. That's what obviously off to an important start.
Well, we're more concerned about this week, of course, keeping that good run going. First up, Division 3, Parkside and St Mary's. St Mary's coming off a bye in round 2, 5-point victory in round 1. I think I might go for Parkside, I think, just quietly. JC, I think they were pretty good against Reservoir. Reservoir had the big win in round 1. Parkside was able to knock them off. Parkside for mine.
Yeah, and Parkside did it easily against Reservoir, which was pretty surprising, I think. So, look, I look at the best players from Parkside last time they played, and it was Dallas King, the best player on the ground. And when Dallas King is playing really good footy, then Parkside are going to be very hard to beat. They've got Andrew Bennett, who's a big inclusion, coming across from McLeod. We've talked about him. He kicked 2 goals last week. And I just think they're going to be very hard to beat. St Mary's, though, I tell you what, in round 1, they were my biggest surprise. I thought South Marine were going to be very hard to beat. And St Mary's came out and did the job by 5 points. So it's going to be a really good game. And look, it's a bit hard to get a read because both sides have only played the 1 game. But you would think Parkside, just through strength of numbers and experience, would probably be a little bit too strong, CT.
Yeah, I think so, mate. And also coming off the bye, you're not quite sure how it goes, whether they need that conditioning in the legs or having that bye so early. But I think the win against Reservoir at Reservoir was impressive, and I think Parkside should take home the biggies.
Well, Reservoir is actually the next side on the cards. They travel to Watsonia. Reservoir obviously disappointing loss in round 2. Watsonia yet to win a game in 2011. Didn't win one in 2010, so it's been a really long time between drinks. Can they get a win this week?
No.
No?
They can't, not this week.
Chance?
Look, Reservoir will be bleeding after losing last week to Parkside. They kicked 4 goals, 15, boys. That is some very, very poor kicking a goal.
Only one the scoring shot as well they had, and they've gone down by 6 goals.
Well, and I mean, 4 goal kickers, and you look there, Ryan Keys, Johansson, Braden White, the big fat pig, and Nick Georgeski. So 4 pretty good goal kickers who have got amongst the goals. I'll be interested to know how many points they each kicked. I think they're just going to be a little bit too strong. They'll play the wide spaces at AK lines really well. Watsonia will be very, very happy to be playing at home again, but I just think Reservoir, I reckon that's just a blip on the radar last time they played against Parkside, and I think Reservoir will be too strong, CT.
Yeah, spot on, mate, and I think obviously 2 clubs coming off a loss, but like you said, pretty simply, Reservoir should win comfortably.
And Heidelberg West and South Morang round out Division 3 rather, pardon me. Heidelberg West doing it pretty tough at the moment.
They are. Look, they lost their 2 best players in the off season. One of them in particular, Aidan Young, right on the eve, right just before the season was about to be kicked out. So that was a heartbreaker for him. But I've got absolutely utmost respect for Matty James. I've said it before, and look, he's doing a phenomenal job down there with the Heidelberg West boys. I can't see them getting the points this week against Panton Hill. Against South Morang. South Morang were my tip pre-season for the premiership, and I'm still sticking with them even though they had a slow start to round 1. And I think the Lions will just be far too strong and probably 3 figures.
Yeah, I think so, mate. They had 7 multiple goal scorers last week, the week before, sorry. And big Shane Whitnell banged home 7. So if that's anything, it's a sign of things to come. Then Heidelberg West could be in a bit of strife.
Yeah, and look, you look at the better players of South Marine last week. Whitnall best on ground. Troy Jeanette was in there. Ben Bodycoat, who won the reserves best and fairest last year. So good to see him up there. Lukey Manning, one of their great leaders. So look, the signs are good for Morang in round 2.
Well, in Division 2, we've got a top of the table clash already in round 3. Should be an absolute beauty. We've got Diamond Creek and Lower Plenty. I was at Lower Plenty, or was that Epping rather, in round 2 when the Bears just pretty much dismantled the whole Blues outfit. They were far too good, too strong. Their forwards and the Barden brothers, Benjamin Gill, Andrew Nee, just too big and strong. And I like them. They're a likely type, and I think they're going to be hard for any team to man up on. So it's the Bears for mine.
Yeah, look, I'm going to go with the Bears as well. And the last time these two played, off the top of my head, I should have done a little bit of research. I'm almost certain it was the preliminary final last year.
1 point game.
It was 1 point that Lower Plenty got over the line by. And look, I know the Diamond Creek people were absolutely filthy. They've had a big turnover in players and coaching staff since then. So look, it's going to be a different look. Diamond Creek that come up against Lower Plenty. Some good signs for Dymo. Tyrone Loader, one of my favourites, kicked 4 and was amongst the better players last week. You mentioned the Barden boys. Darcy Barden is just a star, and he's at 18, 19 years of age. He's going to be really, really hard to stop for just about all comers. Wouldn't surprise me to actually see Tyrone Loader go back on one of the Barden boys this week. I know he kicked 4 last week, but I wouldn't be surprised to see big Tyrone just go back and stand next to one of the Bardens.
Be a good matchup.
Be a ripper.
Very nice. Look, I'm going for Diamond Creek boys. I think at home they could do the job. But like you said, 2 teams are in form and coming off big wins. I think that should be a cracker for Division 2.
And the other one I want to mention from Diamond Creek, Tim Watson, Wooly Watson. I mentioned him in the pre-season preview, I think it was, coming across Montmorency, former star on baller there. Of course, brother of Shane Watson, a former Collingwood player, and great to see Wooly in the best. So good luck to you, Tim.
Also Australian cricketer.
There we go, Shane Watson. Hurstbridge and Thomastown's up next. I don't know too much about either side. I haven't read too much into their form so far this season. I think Hurstbridge at home, I think might get the bickies, but that's just something on top of my head. I couldn't go into it in too much more detail. Jarrad, I'm sure you
know. That is a wonderful insight there, Zito. Thanks for that, mate. Hurstbridge would be pretty happy with the way they've started the year. They had the win in round 1 against Mernda, and then last week they pushed the Stars for most of the game. The Andrew Lovett-less Fitzroy Stars in round 2. Thomastown, on the other hand, just copped an absolute whacking in the hands of Laylaw, which it doesn't all go well for them for the year. The usual suspects for Thomastown getting the job done: Manly, Horman, these types of blokes. For Hurstbridge, I'm really looking forward to seeing them play for the first time this year. It won't be this week; it'll probably be in the next couple of weeks. But Nathan Grimes kicking 5 at full forward, he's going to be a really hard task for anyone to come up against. And I imagine the Thomastown defence will have their hands full.
Yeah, spot on. And like you said, Nathan Grimes has now kicked 2 bags of 5s and leads Division 2. Behind Shepherd, I think, coming second. So he's in form and started well, and you would think that Hurstbridge would account for Thomastown quite comfortably.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, it's a different sort of ground to play at, the old Ben Frawley Oval up there at Hurstbridge, because it's so small, and they do play it really well.
Laylaw Fitzroy Stars, the next game. We have Fitzroy Stars disappointing in round 1, did bounce back in round 2 for a good win without Andrew Lovett, as JC just mentioned. Laylaw's in form though, 2 big wins early in the season. I think at home, I know Lovett probably comes back into the mix, but I'd still say Laylaw at home for mine.
Yeah, look, and for Laylaw, the pleasing thing is that the captaincy hat is something that Peter Shepherd just seems to be wearing really well. He's kicked 11 goals on the weekend, and from all reports, just dominated in round 1 as well against Epping. So, look, he's going to be a real handful for the Stars, particularly given they don't have any really well recognised defenders. I'll be interested to see how Laylaw combat the run of the Stars, because that's their strength. When you get blokes like the Browns, the Hoods, Proctor, Lovett into space, and particularly Bamble as well, one of their big inclusions, they're going to be really hard to stop if they can get a run on. I think it'll be a lot closer than people think, but I still think Laylaw just.
Yeah, I'm going for Laylaw as well. Against Thomastown, 52 scoring shots, and half the team scored goals. So their spread of goals, they're not locking it down to one player. These guys Laylaw have a massive spread of goals, which is important. And you'd think will be a good game, but I think Laylaw by probably about 5 goals.
The other one I just want to mention too for Laylaw was Spencer Christopher, a young 17-year-old who's played the first couple of games, kicked 2 goals last week against Thomastown, so he joined in the party. And look, he's a great young kid. He's a pretty special talent, so good to see him playing some good footy in the seniors.
And the final game of Division 2 is Epping up against Mernda. Epping being disappointing, probably the most disappointing team in Division 2. Yet to get a win so far. Disappointing at home in the match of the day. I think they can bounce back. Jarrad King was in good form. Brad Hollow's played his first match of the season, so he'll be better for the run. And I think Epping at home, big ground. I think I'll go for Epping.
Yeah, Epping for me too. Look, Mernda have had a very strange start to 2011. They've, as you probably know by now, they've just had a turnover of coach after round 2. So, look, not great timing, but I'm sure the club are looking after themselves and making sure that they've got the best chance going forward. So, Epping should do this one pretty easily. It's a real grudge match, Epping-Mernda. They're great rivals. It's usually played on the Anzac weekend, so it's just the weekend after this time. Great to see Adrian Seaton amongst the best players for Epping last round, and he's one of my favourite players to watch, a real jet. So, look, I think Epping will do it pretty easily, 10 goals plus.
I think so, and also both clubs without a win. So looking back at the pre-season, we would have said Epping probably should really be 2-0 at this stage. So they'll be disappointed. We'll bounce back, and I think, like you said, JC will win very comfortably.